I'm joined here this morning by Stephanie Gandulla from the National Marine Sanctuary. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning, Ashley.
So, Stephanie, I hear something is going on this weekend. Can you tell me what that is?
I can. This Saturday, May 16th, is the Great Lakes Regional ROV Competition. So this is where students from all over the Great Lakes will be descending upon Alpena at the Alpena High School and battling it out with their underwater robots that they designed and they built for a very particular mission.
And what kind of areas and grade levels from these different schools, where do they come from?
Well, that's a great question. So they really run the gamut. I mean, we have had first grade teams building their own robots and using them in the pool up to college level teams. In fact, this year we've got a couple teams coming from University of Michigan.
Oh, wow. It sounds like they start at such a young age, which is great. And so I know last year this was a huge hit for Alpena, and I'm sure it will be again this year as well. But where is the location this year?
So this year it is at the Alpena High School. And like you mentioned, it was a huge hit last year. We were very fortunate, the community was, to host the international competition. This year we're back to doing the regional, as we've done every year for 11 years now. But the international competition will be held in Canada, in Newfoundland. Okay. So the students that are competing this Saturday, one of those teams will win and then go on to compete in June in Newfoundland, Canada.
That's awesome. I know we hosted the International last year, which was huge. And so each year is at a different location?
Yep, each year the International rotates through different locations. There are 24 regional events that feed into the International. And like we learned from last year, those are literally all over the world, from Egypt to Scotland to Florida. I could go on, and of course Alpena. So those feed that international competition, and I'm not sure where it'll be next year. And I do believe someday it will definitely come back to Alpena. They had such a wonderful time here.
I certainly hope so. And so, what do the kids have to do when they prepare for this kind of competition?
That's another great question. And I actually brought some props that the students have to work with. Now, these look pretty simple, but if you think about what these students have to do, their missions that they have to undertake. And if you think about doing this with a little robot built out of the same material, this PVC, it's not so simple. So one of the tasks they have to do is go underwater. So this is sitting on the bottom of the pool. And they have to go underwater, and this simulates a pipeline, okay? So they take their robot, so pretend I'm the robot. You should be the robot.
Definitely, I think I should.
So what you have to do is take your robot and go down and remove the corroded pipeline.
Okay, so you remove this?
Yep, and use the U-bolt.
And do they have little clamps?
They should. They should have built their robot to have what they call an actuator, or a little grabby.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they have to take that all the way up to the pool deck and set it down on the pool deck. And then they have to pick up the good new pipeline and put it back on,
and place it on
the entire pipeline there.
That's awesome. So,
that's just one task
wow.
now. So they have many tasks and only 15 minutes to complete these tasks. And so I couldn't bring some of the bigger props. I would have liked to maybe next time, but we've got some really huge props. There's icebergs, simulated ice sheets, because the theme this year is science under the ice, science in the Arctic. And so they have to collect different animals, different algae, different critters underneath the ice sheet. So that's very hard. They have a camera on their robot. And they also have to do some biological reporting on different critters they see under the water in the pool deck.
And so how do they win this competition? I understand there's a lot of tasks they have to complete in a certain amount of time. So if they complete all the tasks or as many as they can, or how well they do it, how does this work?
It's pretty complicated judging structure, and that's one of the reasons we have to rely on our volunteers for this competition so much. I mean, we've got these folks that have been doing it for years, judging for years, and they have a pretty complicated rubric that they have to check off and judge these students on. And all those things you mentioned are in that rubric. How efficiently they complete the tasks. Do they actually complete the entire task? They get certain points for, like if they only brought up the pipe and couldn't replace it, they would still get some points. They also get points for working well together as a team. How fast they can deploy their robot and demobilize their robot. And then they also get judged on how well they explain how they built their robot, that's pretty complex stuff, to a panel of judges.
So it sounds all point-based system. And so one last question is, when and what time is this Saturday?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that, because we really encourage the public to come out and witness these missions. We have a live feed from the pool. So it's a really fun event to come see. So Alpena High School and the Alpena County Plaza Pool, all day Saturday. The missions start at 10 a.m. and they go through to the award ceremony, which starts at 4 o'clock. So public, come on out and see these robots and see these students. There'll be food available to purchase, and but the event itself is free and open to the public.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Stephanie, for coming on today and telling us about this robotic competition. Hopefully the public can make their way out this weekend to see them play with these awesome tools.
Yes, thanks, Ashley.